Tashia, aka Coach Cromwell, and welcome to the Rich Academy. And the Rich Academy is an acronym for realizing I create happiness, realizing you create your own happiness in your circumstances, situations. I birthed this class out of a need to start taking ownership for my own life, start taking back my power from the people, places, things, and circumstances that I was giving it to. I was shifting the blame on parental abuse, partner abuse, substance abuse, anger abuse to what happened to me when I was a little child. When I began my wellness journey, it was important for me to see what was the role I was playing? How was I contributing to the things that was happening in my life, to my life, and how I was responding and showing up in other people's lives? So hence the Rich Academy was birthed. So today we're going to talk about traveling lighter. How many people have been on an airplane before? It's the worst thing going through TSA, isn't it? It is the worst thing. True story. I'm a domestic violence survivor.
What are you talking about? Having been on an airplane is
Haven't
the worst?
been on an airplane, so going through TSA is the worst.
It's the security.
The security, when you're walking through and you have to take off your shoes and take everything out your pockets, and you're like, oh my God. So, quick story. I was flying back home to Jamaica, and I knew what I had in my bag. I just thought that I planned properly. I took everything out of the contents, put them in their airplane friendly packages. This is what they describe. You can carry this amount of ounces on the airplane. Well, I had some very expensive face cream, and I did not, under no circumstances, want to leave that facial cream. When I got there, I had someone who had a lot of friction that day. She was full of contrast. I don't believe that we have difficult people. I believe that people are full of contrast. That day, she opened up my bottle out of everyone, so I felt like I was targeted. Why are you opening my bottle? You didn't open his bottle or her bottle. And she said, well, I think you're a few ounces over. You can't be right, because according to your document, it said that I can have 5 ounces of this content, and it wasn't liquid. So this lady began to take out my cream. She rubbed it on her, and I began to be so full of defense and guarded. I felt violated. What are you doing? Why are you touching my cream this way? I followed your rule, right? I paid attention to what the guidelines were, and now I feel like you're just picking on me. So she then says to me, oh, well, this can't go. What do you mean it can't go? What do you mean I can't travel to my next destination with this cream? So I had to make a judgment call, a sound judgment call at that. And it was, do I want to miss my plane to go home and visit with my family in Jamaica? Do I want to stand here and argue with this lady who probably didn't sleep that well last night, right? I started to think about all types of things, like maybe she hates me. Maybe I look like an ex's girlfriend or something. I don't know.
What was the issue with that cream?
She wanted your cream.
She wanted my cream, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. She wanted my cream. But the fact of this is, where I'm circling back is, I had to make a decision. Was I going to let this cream stand in the way of going to one of the best places on earth?
Of course.
Going to touch my dad, going to hug my relatives. Or was I going to stand here and fight for this cream? Go ahead, Ronnie.
I got something familiar to what you was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 14, when I was dressed in shorts, t-shirt, and sneakers because I wanted to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a big gym bag. It was about this big. And my mentor, he drove in his own car. And he said, as soon as I got into his car, he said, what are you doing with a bag that big? Someone might get nervous when they see a bag that big. And a lot of people was saying things and picking at me about it. Look like you got a sandwich in that bag. Was that right for them to do? I didn't understand.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Did she keep your cream?
And so now we circle back into the story. I had a decision to make, and the cream is just a mental metaphor for where I'm going. I had a decision. If I was going to stand there and miss my plane, I could have paid $25 extra for that small bottle of cream I spent $105 for. I just scooped out a little and complied with their rules. I had a decision to make. My decision was what was important for me to continue to travel forward. Either I take the cream and I set it to the side, or I spend the $25, mail it home, or do I continue on with my journey?
Oh, you could have mailed it home.
Pay the $25. I just put the $105 on the whole jar. So this is where I'm going with this. Sometimes we travel along our journey and we pick up so many different things. You might have picked up abuse from a previous relationship, alcohol, drugs, promiscuity, self-loathing, some type of thing that's weighing you down, right? Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was going to say this is very reminiscent of what I'm going through at work right now.
Okay.
The company I work for is a very corporate mindset, and they give you the runaround over everything and try to get out of everything. And I have an accommodation. It's just tedious. And the latest tedium is I have a break in my toe. They didn't send me to the doctor right away, yada, yada, yada. And misdiagnosed it, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, so I had to hire a lawyer to do this. But my dilemma is after I get all this resolved, is this really the environment?
Right.
Because I only really work there for the health benefits.
Okay.
Disability.
Okay.
Is this really the environment I want to? Because it's not going to change. You're not going to change
That's
the
right.
environment. You might make a dent, you might make a point, but most likely you'll just make a spectacle out of yourself, which is what I do. And it's like, is this the place I want to be? So I can relate.
So I'm happy that you're picking up what I'm putting down. Go ahead.
I can relate to that too. It's go back to what the young man was saying about him getting his apartment. When I was homeless, I had to go through that process. And what made me uncomfortable was, uncomfortable, was the things I had grown accustomed to being homeless. I was satisfied with the way I was living, so I thought.
Okay.
And then what was hard for me was, like you were saying about the cream, it was the people that I was associated with that was willing to help me said I had to make sacrifices in order to get what I wanted. And that was a whole lot that I thought. I had to stop partying.
Yes.
I had to start changing directions of
Yes,
where I was
yes.
using my money. And that takes a long time.
Yes,
That's an accomplishment, because when I first got mine 4 years ago, I didn't know what to do. But the thing about it is, it was like you were saying about the people that I had let into my life or the circle that I was in, I had to get rid of.
That's right.
I had to get rid of it.
That's
First
right.
thing I got back was my spirituality.
That's right.
And once I got that back, and I was wholeheartedly back in it, it wasn't no problem removing people from my life.
Yeah.
I just had to get accustomed to being by myself.
That's right.
And in order to do that, I had to find out that I had to love myself first.
You're speaking now.
Yeah, so then, it's still an ongoing process, because it's like they say about the onion. I'm still peeling layer after layer off.
That's it.
I'm comfortable now, even though I don't socialize a lot. I'm more comfortable because I have sole possession of what I let in my house and what I don't.
That's right. You have the power.
Yeah, well, that's the word.
You have the power.
See,
you're about to teach my lesson. Let me jump back into my lesson, okay? And so wonderful examples from these two gentlemen. You have the power and choice to travel light or take on a heavy load. You have the power to decide who accompanies you on this journey. sometimes that look like being alone. Sometimes it look like constantly using no. No is a full and complete sentence.
The hard one too.
And it's a very hard one, especially if you're a
At
giver.
first,
At
you
first.
get good at it.
Yeah, that
You
You
get
first.
get really good at it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just say it in the air just to hear it. Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a people pleaser.
Mhm.
That's and
We all are.
yeah, I was a people pleaser, and that wasn't this apartment isn't the first one that I got. It's the first one that I kept
Okay.
because I was letting them same people. Once
Into
I
it.
got in my
Mhm.
apartment, oh well, here you ain't got to sleep on the street tonight. You come on stay.
See,
And
now
I
you
lost
went,
my
you went
apartment.
into the heroes complex.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it. Super
Yeah.
scared.
Right.
And I lost that apartment because of that. And like you're saying, it's a hard choice to make, but it's one that's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing good now. I still have my little things that I'm still working on. But when I wake up in the morning, I look around and say, Lord, thank you.
Thank you.
'Cause I know where I come from.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you is a complete phrase of gratitude.
Thank you.
So when we travel lighter, that means that we can gain the energy, the momentum, and the stamina to continue to push forward, especially on those days where it's just heavy. Those days where it's hard for us to get up out the bed. Those days when we're thinking about people who did us wrong in the past, or maybe the things that we contributed to that stifled our growth. We get to unpack some bags today. But you must first decide that I'm going to unpack this bag piece by piece by piece.
You know what? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm going back to what you were saying. It's
I'm coming back to you.
go ahead.
You
I'm
go ahead,
waiting on
finish
because
it.
I forgot just that.
Okay, go ahead, Jeremy.
Like we said, travel lighter. I plan to travel light to my apartment, and like I mentioned before about my medicine can't do
Yeah.
everything for me. So if I feel like I'm anxious or overwhelmed
Mhm.
and stuff, I have to figure out some coping techniques to keep myself from being afraid of being alone.
That's
'Cause
right.
I haven't been alone since about 13 years now.
Wow. So let's go there. I was just on a part where I was saying that we get to decide, right? Your mind, your heart, your emotions is the bag. Some of us have been wounded from the cradle. Some of us in our adolescence and teen and young adults, and even now that we are adults, life is kicking us in our asses. It's tearing us up mentally and emotionally. We're walking around with self-doubt. We're not filled in the right spaces. The energy is not flowing cohesively. We don't feel like we deserve anything good. Why is that, Coach? Because we're still traveling with years and years and years of repetitive abuse, parental abuse, abandonment, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is that you're struggling with. We're traveling with that backpack, that proverbial backpack that's pulling you backwards. You can't even stand straight up in it because you're just so worried about these past tense things. Let's get some tools going today. Let's talk about what does that look like to mentally and emotionally unpack that bag.
This is interesting that this is the topic today, because this is kind of why I'm here. In addition to my alcoholism, my bipolar, and my interesting childhood, to say the least, I am a compulsive shopper,
Okay.
and I have nice things. And ever since I injured this foot, a friend of mine said something to me, I have come to the realization that I have enough. It's taken a long time to get there, and it's good stuff. So I'm not going to just take it all and throw it out of the curb, which is what everybody else would have to do. But so I literally, what I do is I build a wall with stuff, because
Yeah.
you don't argue with stuff.
No, that's where you feel
Stuff-
safe,
I know, right?
right? That's where you feel safe. But even that can serve as, you just said it, a wall. I'm going to keep you
it
out.
pushes people out.
I'm
Yeah,
going to keep you out. So let's go into unpacking this proverbial bag. In 2013, I was in full displacement, and I started moving around wherever I could lay my head. There was a small red suitcase I had with wheels. It was so cute, and I got it on sale, and I was like, oh, this is good. It has wheels on it. It has durability, so it can withstand the things that I was throwing in the bag. Now, keep in mind, it's 2013. We're in 2022. That same red suitcase has traveled with me. I've picked up so many different things from 2013 to 2022. Yesterday, I opened my closet and I seen that red suitcase. I can't even tell you what was in the suitcase, but I knew that that suitcase, I started accumulating things that I no longer needed. I opened up the suitcase yesterday from 2013 that has traveled with me through all of my homelessness, through all of my abusive connections, and I was just throwing things in. I still had a napkin in the suitcase, a napkin in the suitcase. And I had a number 4 written on it. I don't know why, but it ended up in that suitcase. Yesterday, I threw everything in the suitcase in the trash. I can't tell you every single item that was in the suitcase, but I can tell you because I was traveling so heavy, it made me stay disconnected from connections that was sent to help me elevate forward. It kept me out of spaces where I could no longer trust because I was so busy bringing that suitcase with me in every relationship, in every circumstances and situation. I was bringing Miss Red Bag with me. Come to find out, I no longer needed anything in that bag. So it looked like while I was in isolation that I can say, man, I'm really not lonely. My higher power is dealing with me. My higher power is saying that you've been set aside. You're not set by yourself. You've been set aside so that I can have that one-on-one relationship where there's nothing interfering between you and I. Because this journey is individualized. This means that someone might come along and aid you forward on your journey. But don't be dismayed when they disappear. Because just like the seasons, relationships and connections and even jobs is a seasonal thing.
That's right.
And we are to learn and get from that situation every single thing that we need. So what are we going to unpack today? We're going to unpack and give ourselves some forgiveness. We're going to forgive ourselves for anything that you feel like you messed up or broke. Because guess what? Along this journey, even though it doesn't feel like it, you were supposed to mess it up. You were supposed to break it.
So you let her keep the cream.
I let her keep the
I
cream.
figured. She already knew it was good on her skin.
That's why you did.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, man. But can I, it was talking, we were talking about, succeeding, like getting your own apartment.
Mhm, mhm.
One of the biggest things, when I told you that my spirituality, that was one of the first things that I had to get back. But one of the first things that I really had to do, you mentioned it, was accept what I played, the parts that I played
That's right.
in the situations that I was blaming
That's right.
everybody.
And that's
found
hard,
out,
right?
yeah, it's hard because I was blaming everybody
That's right.
and everything except me.
Yeah.
And the journey, that's the thing about the journey. It's not quick.
Yeah.
It's not quick.
Yeah, it's a
I
marathon.
Takes a
decided
lifetime.
to take it, and what was bothering me the most was I was ready to become unhomeless
Now, right now.
But everywhere I went, it was a process, but that was a long process.
Yeah.
But today I could say that I appreciate that my granddaddy used to have a saying. He said, in order to get to, you have to go through.
You gotta go
You have to
through.
go through.
You gotta go through. So it's called the process.
Yeah.
And this is what we learn in the process. In the process, we learn patience.
Mhm. That's hard. too,
That's
for-
super hard, right?
Especially when you're homeless.
In the process, we learn how to communicate more effectively. I'm not gonna keep yelling because I know when I yell, they don't hear me.
And also in the communication, you learn who will hear you. There's some people.
You learn
how
who your
well you
people
do-
are.
Yeah.
in that process.
Not only that, I found out that I can't trust everybody the same way. I was always one way. I'm a hopeless romantic. When I do something, I go wholeheartedly
There you go.
in it, and that one was crushing me because I wasn't getting what I was receiving. I wasn't receiving what I
you
was
were
giving.
giving.
And that's a hard, because everything you said is everything that I had to do in order to become unhomeless.
Yeah,
And becoming unhomeless takes just as long as it do to be homeless,
that's
but
right.
not longer.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I like how you say unhomeless. So I'm gonna use that. But I don't know if this is like this for you. This is like it's for me. You're in so need of help yourself, but you're not really sure
Mm-hmm.
what you do to fix it. So you try to help everybody else out of their problems, thinking one of them will be grateful and take the time to fix you, even though it's not their responsibility.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
And they really don't. And a lot of times, frankly, people resent you for.
People do
Yeah.
resent you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so this is why the Rich Academy, realizing I create happiness.
Mhm.
So when you're taking the focus off of your intimate partner and you're starting to wear and be accountable for who you are and how you show up in every relationship that you're connected to, you won't need someone to come and save you. You know how to throw yourself that lifeline.
Mhm.
Today's lesson in traveling lighter looks like this: forgiveness for myself, forgiveness for the people and those places and things that I've destroyed and taken away. Looks like that I'm going to plant a new seed for someone else, a seed of hope. It looks like that I can wake up and say, thank you. I'm not homeless anymore. Thank you. I've never been by myself in 13 years, but I'm about to go into this space that's unfamiliar. I'm excited. I'm scared, but thank you.
My thing was I didn't know how to ask. The help was offered.
Mm-hmm.
My thing was I didn't know how to accept help.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to accept help. And even to this day, I'm still making changes in my life, but it's easier. It's easier now. It's because I'm moving forward. I got this little
That's
thing going ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and I refuse to let anybody in. I'd rather be by myself
And peaceful.
in peace
Mm-hmm.
than to deal with all that craziness that I used to do. I sit back now and say, well, how in the world are you lucky you alive?
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about that help is people around you that love you will try to help you, but a lot of them don't know what you need.
Right.
And honestly, I know this for myself. I used to think, you know, nobody wants to help me. I help everybody do this and just all this. But people did help me, but people get tired of helping you. You know, when you lean on people to help you do stuff that you probably could if you were better doing your own. But
Realizing
you're
I
not
create
there yet.
happiness.
And yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And so those people, like, you know, I mean, I used to have people come help me organize, people come over and wash my dishes, and that's not their job.
Mhm.
And then they just get tired of that, and they think, well, you're gonna pester me to do stuff for you all the time. Now I just don't want to be around you. And then
So in
it's another
unpacking
wall.
that, if we're going to unpack that part of the proverbial bag, you're saying, I want people to come and help me. How are you helping you?
Mm-hmm.
When people see you, helping yourself, standing up for yourself, loving yourself, because we teach people how to love us. We teach people how to communicate with us, right? We teach people how to value us. So when I see Jeremy, I know Jeremy's going to have on some nice sunglasses and he's going to look the part. He's going to look good. And when Ronnie comes, Ronnie is my ray of just sparkles. And I know Ronnie's going to have on that zazz. So I'm looking for Ronnie to show up. I'm looking for Jeremy to show up. So I know if you're not in your sunglasses, Mr. G-Mac, my cool dude, and if you don't have on that sparkle, that zazz going on, I know something's going on with you. Hey, Ronnie, what's going on? I look to see that big picture with you. Hey, Jeremy, what's going on? You know, You normally switch your frames up, but what's going on? How are you showing up for you so that others, your support system, because they only play support, you're giving them too much power when you make them your focal point, right? How are you showing up for you? How did each and every one of you wake up today to walk in your purpose, on purpose, to first aid yourself and then be a blessing to everyone else? You're saying, help me, but do you even know what you need?
That was my problem. I did. I know I wanted help, but I didn't know what help I needed.
So now, let's reshape that. If you come to me today and you say, Tashia, I just need someone to help me, what do you think my first question is going to be?
What you doing for yourself?
What do you need? And then what have you done to start working on that for yourself?
That's the hard part.
And why do you need me? That's the other one I used to get a lot.
Realizing I create happiness. Realizing that my life has a purpose, that everything that I was connected to, all the pain, the guilt, the shame, had a purpose. Knowing that some days I probably wasn't innocent in some of the things that I was doing.
That's right.
Taking the ownership back, taking your power back. When you can say, you know what, man, I apologize. I did some really messed up things when I was out there. And I'm probably still connected to some of that dysfunctional stuff that I was doing.
That's,
I'm sorry. I think when you open up about that stuff,
Mhm.
because everybody's got it.
Every one of us. Every one of us.
And when you open up in that and you're honest with yourself and everybody else about it, you lose the guilt
All the time. And you grow.
and you grow.
right. That's what I did. Go ahead.
No,
That's
You
what
sure?
You raised your hand, didn't you?
no, anyway.
When I was talking, I said one of the first things that I really had to get back was my spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot again.
It's perfectly fine. Let's get through the next few minutes before the class is over. I want to give Jeremy some good tools. You said 13 years you haven't been on your own and you were a little bit afraid, right?
And I've been in the hospital
Mhm.
system since 2013 to about 2 years ago, about 2020. And then I moved into my group home. I've only been in my group home for just about a year or two now. So
But guess what you do? Your biggest superpower is that you ask for help.
yeah.
You ask for the help using your own words. Where you need the help at, you place it there. And you say, this is what I need. This is the help that's going to be tangible to help me go the next journey. Homework for the rest of the week is that when you're asking for help, know exactly what it is that you're asking for.
If I can just say something to
Mhm.
Jeremy, I know when I first got on my own, well, not when I first got on my own place, but the place I have now, I have a cat.
Okay.
And sometimes when you move into a new place and you're uncomfortable not having somebody around, a pet can be the greatest thing in the world. I mean, depending on if you like pets. But anyway.
You got this. We're all proud of you. So proud of you. But keep showing up, keep asking for the help that you need, and make sure you are expressing exactly what that need is, because you are the only one that can create that happiness for you.
I went through that process about trying to make myself happy. But I talk about my spirituality, but one of the other things that was real important for me to kind of free me up was accepting my mental health.
That's right.
Accepting the fact that I had mental health challenges and I am limited to what I can do. Once I got rid of that stigma, because it was with me for a while, I said, I need to just own up to this. I take medicine. So the people that's close to me, I let them know I have to take my medicine.
That's right.
I'm so and so and so and so. And you said something earlier about sometimes other people see in you what you don't see in yourself.
That's right.
So if my hygiene is not really up
Yeah.
to par, then
Yeah.
what's going on with
Yeah.
you? So I have to keep substitute the bad with good things coming into my life. So,
And it's not the bad. I like the word contrast.
okay, I noticed you used that
Yeah,
word.
the word contrast, because that tells me I'm in a space of growth
And most things are not either all good
or
or all
bad.
bad,
No, they're not.
black or white.
That's right.
We live in a gray world.
We live in a gray.
But once I accepted that, then everything started kind of falling in place. It wasn't so hard for me to wait.
That's right.
It doesn't, to wait on what I would look for.
That's
I
right.
said, well, I can do this while I'm waiting.
That's right.
Do something else while I'm waiting. So
Yeah. And that's a good space to be in.
it's a good thing.
Give yourself grace. All of you, give yourself grace. Give the people that's on your journey that may not have shown up for you in a space that you wanted them to be there, and give them grace.
Yeah, be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Be fair to them,
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about packing lighter.
Mm-hmm.
My mom reminded me of the last time I visited her back in May, was she told me to remember not to overpack when I packed for 7 days.
That's right.
She told me to pack for the 7 days that I visit her, so don't overpack like pants and shirts and
That's
socks
right.
and underwear.
And it's the
stuff.
same thing for life's journey.
Yeah.
Only travel with the things that we need to help us move forward. Like that red suitcase that's now empty from 2013 to 2022. I had a napkin in there from 2020. The number 4, I can't even go into a space to remember why that napkin was in that suitcase.
Funny story, when I hadn't traveled by myself in a long time, so I was about to run out of money. So before I did, I wanted to go to California. And I'm a compulsive shopper, and I figured I would buy stuff there. So I packed 2 or 3 outfits, and then I packed empty suitcases inside my suitcases. Because I knew I would shop. So I really traveled light getting there, but on the way back,
You bought a whole bunch of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of stuff. And that's what that suitcase was about. It was about every place that I had taken shelter. I had taken some things with me. Extra things. Yesterday, I learned how to travel light. Yesterday, I didn't even dig through the stuff. I just took the whole suitcase and dumped it in a dumpster. Yeah.
What I shared earlier, did that matter what I said?
Oh, big time. Big time. First of all, it's no one's business what was in your bag. It's your bag.
Yeah, I thought I was looking the part. I
And
walked into a gym with a gym bag, and someone said, "Lord, you got a sandwich in that bag."
you are not responsible for another person's description of you. However someone feels about you, that's their business. That's their business. You continue to be you. Every last one of you in here, but be the best version of you. That's where it matters. You think there's a sandwich in the bag? Okay, for your thoughts. Let's go play this basketball. I don't have anything to do with how you showed up today, but as for me, when I realize that I create the happiness, I know that I change the wind. I know that I change the energy. I know that I can change the outcome. We're not making things, people, places, or anything else our focal point, our God, our whatever, because you have the power and control to navigate what the next part of your recovery looks like.
I never knew how that happened. How I did. I mean, I can't tell you on that particular day what made me change my mind or what. I don't know what happened. All I know, it was all of a sudden, I don't want to live this way no more.
There you go.
Just
like that.
Just like that. I don't want to live this way no more.
Funny on that note, I see a new psychiatrist now, and he's put me on some medication that helps with, I have sort of vivid dreams, which allows me not to get restful sleep. And he told me something one day. He said, now what you need to do is you need to go to bed early so you can get up early and start your day.
That's
And I was like, I tried that. it really doesn't work. But you know what? I tried it now,
Uh-huh.
and it do.
But so now you're in a new space to receive. That's the other component. You have to be in a space to
Mindset, yeah.
conceive new mindset.
And that was the hard, that's what I meant when I said I decided I don't wanna live this way no more.
Mhm.
It's the people that I put in front of me I don't know how to, never mind. I don't know how
No.
to explain.
I understand very well, and that's why I'm glad you're here today. Because now you see, it's not about whoever you have in your life. You think about it like a charm bracelet, right? You're the bracelet. Relationships, they're the charms. They're the extension. They're add-on to. It's not the whole bracelet. Your relationship is not who you are. It might be a representation of who you are, an extension of who you are. But that woman is not your full relationship.
Right.
The best relationship that everyone can have in this room is a relationship with self.
Right. That makes
Even
so
though
much
it doesn't feel like it. On days where you're confused, on days when you're dealing with more loneliness, more emptiness, you reach back inside of you. Go back to a space and time where it was happiest for you and take parts of that. Recreate that space. Because when you start looking at who you are and what you have to offer life and what you're bringing into the next relationship, then you'll begin to know that I am worthy. I'm worthy. I'm the best investment for my life. I can't invest in anyone else until I'm 110% invested in me.
And you
Right,
can't help
right.
anybody until you're ready.
Right?
Yeah.
We're not pouring from an empty cup. If I pour from an empty cup and I give all of y'all my cup that's empty and you say you're thirsty, what are you getting from me? Nothing.
Exactly.
Pour from a place of overflowing, always. But today, give yourself grace. All right? So guys, I am Coach Cromwell. This is the Rich Academy. I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Take me with you on your journey. You got this. And I'm telling you, even when you think you don't have it, remember today, out of that proverbial backpack, that heavy backpack, I got to take some stuff out. I got to take some stuff out. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, Facebook, your viewers. So we hope to see you guys again. If you need me, I'm right across the street.
Thank you.